YouTube fam, I appreciate you guys. It's Gabos. We back with another one. Your boy's consistent, man. Appreciate you. I'll rock with you if you rock with me. Consider subscribing to the channel because your boy's consistent with the info. All right, so we got, this could be the end of Logan Paul. Jake Paul, Logan Paul, sometimes I can't even tell the difference. These guys came from nothing, man. It's crazy because it's like we watch both of their rise together, you know, and they've both done some controversial shit to land themselves in hot water, but, you know, they came out of it. Both of them seem to be doing pretty well with themselves. Jake with his boxing career. Logan was just, he was in WrestleMania, bro. Like, what, we went from YouTubers to boxing in the ring with Floyd Mayweather to wrestling in WrestleMania. And now Jake Paul's out here knocking everybody out. He just beat Anderson Silva, only the greatest MMA fighter of all time. One of, you know, he's one of the GOATs. But apparently this is the end of him. I guess we're entering cancel culture once again. So we're going to get right into it, man. Let's rock out.
Couple of years I have been observing podcasts from afar, and one growing trend I've seen is that podcasts almost always face some sort of turmoil as they become more popular and money starts being discussed. The problem most podcasts seem to have is that the main talent sees themselves as the essential piece to the show, because after all, they're typically the one bringing in the audience in the first place. And so at that point, they begin to see their co-host as replaceable employees. That's exactly what we saw last year with the Joe Budden podcast, when Joe Budden did the completely on-brand move of self-destructing and destroying everything he has built up for years.
Rory, you are in breach of your contract, and from this point forward, you are fired, and you're not.
This was such a lame-ass move by Joe. Like, to be honest, I actually rock with the podcast. Like, there was just nothing like those three together, Rory and Maul. But to do that, to make a spectacle, and these are supposed to be your friends. I think Joe attended Rory's wedding. Attended his wedding, and I just thought this was just clickbait, social media, clout chasing, backstabbing bullshit by Joe Budden. This was lame.
Not welcome back.
Though I will say in retrospect, it was probably in the best interest of all parties involved that they went their separate ways. But damn, do I miss that trio. Recently, we have been talking a lot about Logan Paul's podcast Impulsive and the problems they have been having in regards to their C-Mike co-host, Curious George, ever since he walked off the Bobby Lee episode.
And now we're going to have to deal with the fallout of this episode for the next 2 months.
You could tell at that moment that not only was George upset, but Logan was also really pissed off as well. If there's one thing that Logan takes seriously, it's his content, and if he feels there's any sort of liability on his team, it's been well documented that he has no problem essentially telling people to take a hike for the sake of continuing to make what he sees as the best content possible. And in my opinion, George being on this podcast is kind of like a ticking time bomb for Logan, really just waiting to explode. He's already replaced this C-Mike twice in the past, and I see it happening again soon. He already made it very clear that he completely sided with Bobby.
Bobby, it was his fault. Bobby, you were right.
And from the very beginning of this newest episode, you can see Logan and George trading these awkward jabs at each other back and forth.
I just want to let you guys know that this is off to a fantastic start.
Thanks to you, buddy.
I'll pull up my notes. I got something to talk about.
I got something to say.
Okay, can I ask you questions?
Sure, George. I guess this is a podcast, an open forum where, you know, it's by design. That's the goal.
Now, in the last few videos, I've been pretty tough on Curious George, but here I'm definitely going to be throwing him some bail. Because around 12 minutes in, they begin to have a debate about religion, and obviously George is the religious dude on the podcast, whereas Logan essentially represents this agnostic viewpoint of the world. He bases his reality on facts and science, and basically not hope and belief like George. And so Logan comes from this viewpoint that because things like being gay or having sex before marriage are looked down upon in the Bible, he basically thinks religion has no merit in its totality.
I just don't know if I can get behind. Like, that's silly to me. That seems silly to me. So I think it's a silly practice to engage in, and I think it deserves satire.
I know this man didn't just do that. I know he didn't just say that on his podcast, bro. Like, this is, oh God, man. Like, people get in the way of their bag so many times. Here's the thing, because you know, obviously there's freedom of speech, but there's no such thing as freedom of consequences. You know, you're allowed to say whatever it is that you want, but understand the things that you say, there are consequences behind your beliefs. Like you got to understand the people that you're offending by the stance that you're having, aka Kanye, aka Kyrie Irving, aka a plethora of other numerous people that have said just their views about things that they just don't believe in. Nope. I mean, I don't know the context of this conversation, but one thing I don't touch the Bible. I don't touch other people's practices, and I definitely don't touch religions, regardless of whatever it is that I believe. I believe in God. I keep it straightforward. Do I read the Bible? Occasionally. No, I'm not gonna lie. I don't. But it doesn't change the fact that I still believe in them. You know? So I'm not gonna knock someone who reads the Bible and gets their views of life from the Word of God. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not gonna sugarcoat it and brush it off as if and be so dismissive of things that have created the path for how people choose to live their lives. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if you believe in it or not, it's completely irrelevant. Nobody asked, you know? Maybe
come
just
on.
me.
Yeah, but that's
You
not.
subscribe to a doctrine that slams homosexuality. Come on, bro. That's ridiculous. I just am definitely questioning why we have to perpetuate a belief that is fucking silly.
And George's rebuttal to this is that just because some people in his religion hold these beliefs doesn't mean that you can just lump all Christians into that line of thinking, and that he feels that Logan doesn't even know enough about the Bible to speak on it in general. Then the situation continues to get heated as Logan continues to be very disrespectful.
Because I'll be honest with you, bro. Jesus Christ fucks.
Oh God.
What?
And people don't think that about him.
And it's safe to say that this relationship might not last the test.
Yell at me about gay people. I never once talk about gay people.
Because you're subscribed to the doctrine that perpetuates that information.
I'm subscribed to love my neighbor.
You're sitting in the same boat with some really hateful people.
let me help.
Dude, you're a racist,
Yeah.
a homophobic Christian. Obviously you do.
No, shut up. Shut up. Stop. I know people that hate me, that treat me better about my faith than you, and you're my best friend.
Now, I will say, the whole time George remained pretty respectful while Logan said his religion was silly and even mocked Jesus Christ. George says they have had this built-up animosity for months over this topic, and so I'm not surprised that Logan is now publicly taking aim at his head, especially now that he has pissed him off. It's almost like when you and your girl are beefing, and every little thing she does makes you mad all of a sudden. Like, why the fuck do you gotta eat your food like that?
I want you to say it right now.
Who's right?
Whose God is real?
My God is real in my eyes.
Not Allah.
I don't believe that Allah is real in my eyes.
A lot of Muslims would disagree with you.
But does that mean I have to disrespect their beliefs? No, absolutely not.
And so the debate goes on, and it really comes to a head when Logan tells George that he needs to seek therapy because he is emotionally unintelligent.
Damn.
And basically that just believing in God and the Bible is not enough to sustain a healthy state of mental health.
The therapist, what category am I falling under?
Emotional intelligence.
Emotional, me.
Yes.
I'm not emotionally intelligent. Could you pick a time and frame any day of our life?
Here's one. 3 weeks ago when you were sitting in that chair, you stormed off this exact podcast because you were upset about something a comedian said.
And that's when the gloves really come off and the true feelings from George towards Logan really start to come out. And he basically says that Logan will do absolutely anything for power and notoriety, even when that means hurting those that he loves.
I think you're so giant with your words, you really don't know what you step on when you say things. Like, really, like, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way or trying to pull at you. I think that you have so much going.
He better than me. I would have been like, yeah, I mean that in a disrespectful way. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? Who died and made you king of mental awareness? It's like, what Logan Paul? Yo, bro.
On in your life, and you're so, like, power driven that you will mold past your friends and family without knowing.
I mean, it's written all over Logan's face that he is not happy with the situation, and specifically very annoyed with George. The way he's so dismissive of any point that George makes, and combative about his point of view, really tells me that he wasn't here to debate, but to condemn George for his beliefs. It's like one person wanting to win a debate, while the other is really just trying to have a conversation. And yes, personally, I do hate it when religious individuals tell others they should be religious too. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to give a religious person pushback. But I also think it's just as bad to demand someone to go to therapy, and there's definitely a time and place to talk about this sort of thing. And then when George starts talking about this dark place he was in, like he tried to do on the Bobby Lee podcast, Logan basically tells him that he's a big old puss.
When the 2 years that I had the hardest years of my life was this past 2 years. Did anybody here know this? No one checked in on me. There's some people that can't express, bro. Like
you're asking for a babysitter. You're 29.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying you can't knock something that I've gone through and helped save me.
I'm not knocking that.
But you don't know the steps that I took.
And they're obviously
Dude
not
said
going to
you're-
see eye to eye on the...
Dude said you're 29. You act like you need a babysitter. So do men not go through midlife crises? Do men not go through depressions? Like I didn't know that, like, we stop dealing with real shit the older we get. Last time I checked, life gets realer the older we get. You know what I'm saying? That is a classic case of someone not coming from where you come from and understanding your struggles. This is clearly what that is. How do you dismiss someone telling you, yo, I went through some of the darkest years of my life 2 years ago and nobody checked up on me? Imagine you telling your friend that and he goes, damn, bro, you need a babysitter? Huh? Oh my God, son.
These topics. Like I said, I think this was all much more of a testament to where the two's relationship lies at the current moment. The tension is obvious, and like I already said, there's a way to have these conversations without taking personal shots at someone for what they believe, especially in regards to something as personal as religion in a conversation amongst friends. All in all, I will give George his credit because he did keep his composure here. I still don't think the dude should be a comedian, but yeah, I had to throw him some bail. Have y'all had similar conversations with your friends? Do you think that George is about to get the boot? Y'all let me know what you guys think down below.
I don't get the whole ending of Logan Paul. I don't think this is enough to end him. I don't think the dude is an evil bastard. I do think he's an asshole. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And we all have asshole friends. But this just looks like... I don't see cancel culture for Logan Paul on this specific topic. But he's an asshole, bro. You know, because people deal with shit. And this is why I always tell, like, and this is my gift. Like, don't quote me. I have this belief, right? And you're gonna be like, yo, Gabos, you tripping. What the hell you talking about, bro? But no, I believe that we're all born with a specific set of special powers. You know, and those powers could come. And what I mean by powers, I don't mean like a special ability that nobody's incapable of having. No, I'm not trying to mystify you guys with Fugazi, but I'm just saying we're born with skills that come naturally to us in terms of just how we get along with other human beings. Therefore, like, some people could be very strong communicators, some people could be very strong listeners, some people are problem solvers, some people are hustlers. Like, we're not all made of the same metric, right? So you're gonna have different worlds collide where sometimes we just don't understand each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes someone is rock, someone's paper, and it's just like it's not meshing, right? So I always reserve my opinion for people that give a damn, and I always try to mind the words that I say without trying to offend people, because I have to realize people come from completely two different worlds, you know? So it's like it's a thin line between like having a discussion and having a debate and trying not to offend someone just because you disagree. It's so crazy how quick we are to offend someone that we disagree with. And it's like we can only communicate when we get along. But why can't we communicate when we don't get along? If I say something that you don't like, why do you have to insult my intelligence? You know what I'm saying? Why does it have to go there? Why can't we keep the same energy when we're celebrating something and we're just having a conversation about our celebration? But the moment we don't get along with something, it's met with just like this defensive pushback, like, no, you don't know what you're saying, or this, that, and the third. Jake Paul wasn't listening to anything that his boy was saying, bro. He wasn't here to listen to none of that shit. What you talking about? You know what I mean? But, I mean, is it the end of Logan Paul? Who knows? I'm not the internet. I don't decide who gets canceled. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate you guys for rocking out. I rock with you, rock with me. Click that subscribe button. And also check in the bio. You guys follow my social media information. I got all that in the bottom. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to open myself to the people, because I am a man of the people. But I appreciate you guys, and I'm gonna see you guys next video. You know what I mean? Mamba out.